Welcome to the Marc Smith Podcast. As hunters, fishermen, and outdoorsmen and women, life has been a journey that's taken us to high mountain peaks and low river bottoms. We've had ups and downs, trials, tribulations, and in the end, we find joy. Joy only found through the good news of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. These are our stories, so pull up a seat, lean in, and enjoy. Now, let's get to the episode. We're rolling?
Rolling.
All right. Well, this is episode, number 5?
Number 5.
We're up to 5 now. Had some great feedback on the last one. We expected to. You want to get people chattering, make a short talking about arrows and what you need and don't need, or be holding a gold tip arrow talking about axis arrows. That gets them fired up. That was fun. So yeah, I had some great comments on there, good banter back and forth, but that was I've been getting quite a bit of feedback on the arrow conversation we had, and it resonated with a lot of people, and so I really appreciate that. But we're coming to you today, still laid up over here, post-op. Had the surgery last Thursday, so a week ago tomorrow I had surgery. I got the pins and plates and cords and all the stuff they put in there.
What's the recovery time, do they say?
I go back for a 2-week checkup next week. And then he decides whether he keeps me in a cast or puts me in a boot. And then it's like a 3-month recovery before I'm allowed to put like weight on it.
The actual weight.
So yeah, it'll be like late spring, like May, before I'm actually start walking again, learning how to walk. Yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna be like 6 months before you're actually optimal.
Yeah. Before I'm out walking around, it'll be 6 months probably. And this is only week 2, and I'm absolutely miserable. But I just grinding through it. Had a little spill last night. Fell down in the shower. Lost my balance. That was demoralizing. I'm not gonna lie. That was a low point. That was a low point. I had to go to the Lord fast on that one. Almost as bad as when I fell and broke it. I mean, not the pain wasn't there, but the disappointment, the fright, the scared. Did I injure it? And the scary part was knowing I could not put weight on it, and I so wanted to. But I know I can't put any weight on it, and I knew I was going down. This is all happening in a millisecond, so I just had to let myself fall down backwards in my shower. I landed on my right hip, and it was sore, but luckily no head injury. My poor wife was witnessing the whole thing. She was on her way to get to me, and I told her, anytime I'm going through a threshold of a door now or in or out of the shower, I need hands on me. I can't. It's just too risky because I do not want to prolong any of the healing on that. So rough night last night, prayed about it, and man, it was just a low moment, but I'm better today and good to go, and ready to talk about some scripture and bow hunting.
Yeah.
Or hunting or whatever.
Yeah. I know that that period is going to be like the longest you've ever kind of been down
in my life.
In your life.
Ever.
You've never been sick longer than 4 days?
Yeah, no.
5. So that takes a lot of willpower and patience. And on the previous, when this first kind of happened, we discussed our future plans on how we're going to hunt, how we're going to be hunting, and that new setup. We're going to try to be set up ground blinds in the right spot strategically in deep thicket woods. You got to know what you're doing.
Yeah.
But it got me thinking about the patience thing, about sitting in ground blinds, and I thought this would be a good time for people to kind of get another window into some of the deeper sides of Marc Smith, Muley Slayer, and things maybe they haven't heard. So talking about ground blinds and patience, what are some of your best ground blind experiences that you've had?
I got a few. Ground blinds have never been one of the main ways I hunt. Just because I like being way up in trees, I like seeing and stuff. But there is a time and a place for a ground blind, and having a limited mobility is a great time, I would say, to have a ground blind. But my first ground blind experience, man, back in the early 2000s, I'd say like 2001, I'd gotten a video. It was a double bull video, and they were going on hog hunts and stuff down here in Texas. We were living in Colorado at the time. And I was like, man, I want to do that. And I called old Bill Watson, had that hog hunting place there in the hill country. And South Hills Ranch, and me and Sean Dennison flew down. And he's like, what do you want to spot and stalk, whatever. I was like, man, I'll hunt however you want me to hunt, but I at least want one of my experiences to be in a ground blind. I never hunted a ground blind. He goes, oh yeah, we got you, bro. And so my first one, the first evening, I went set in a tripod, shot a pretty nice pig, and then the next morning, he corned a fence line, a really long fence line. He could get his truck down and he corned it. And I was spotting, stalking javelinas and hogs on that one because I wanted a javelina also. And I didn't get either one of those. So that evening, uh, he said, hey, you want to hunt in a ground blind? I said, yeah. So he took me to this little dim road that, hey, they had not hunted yet, and went back in the bushes, trimmed it out, threw this ground blind up, put a chair in it, corned the road, and left. And Sean Dennison was with me. He'd already killed his pig, so he was set with me. And I was killing my second pig, and he kind of tapped my leg and said, "Hey, right here." He could hear something walking coming down the road, and there was like 100-pound shoat, little 100-pound hog, come through there eating corn. And I shot that thing. I'd never shot out of a ground blind at ground level at like 12 yards. And so I put my 20-yard pin right behind the shoulder, and I spined that sucker. Boom, dropped it. Got out, got it. It was awesome. But he got it on film too. We actually have all that on video. I have to find that old video from back in 2001. And I killed that pig. And I was like, I love ground blind hunting, man. I only set this thing for 15, 20 minutes, and I got one. And then the next experience I had ground blind hunting was in 2000. That would have been in 2002. I'm sorry. Yeah, that was the spring of 2002. In the spring, and so in 2003, I took your sister back there. Me and her sat together with Will Watson, Bill's son, as a cameraman. And your sister, she was only 13, and she killed a hog with your mom's target bow. Remember? That was her first pig. Yeah, a little Hoyt. Yeah, and a flag pattern, American flag pattern. And it was a sapphire, Hoyt sapphire, 35 pounds, cut on contact, little broadhead, 35 pounds. I think I built her like a 400 grain arrow. Just basically shooting a recurve. And she shot right through that little boar at about 20 yards and got him. It was really cool. She got one. And so then the fall of that year, I was hunting with Danny Ferris. Anybody knows Danny Ferris, your life's better. I'm telling you, your life is better for knowing Danny Ferris. He's been my friend for over 20 years, yeah, almost 25 years, and we've hunted turkeys together quite a bit, and we hunted antelope together. In 2003, I had met Danny. No, so yeah, 22 years. I met him in 2003, and he said, "Hey, I got a pretty good place to antelope hunt. You want to hunt together?" I said, "Sure, man." And Danny's wide open. He owns Ultimate Predator stalker decoys. Danny's a mover and a shaker. He's one of the most ambitious men I've ever met in my life. One of the most ambitious bow hunters I've ever seen. And he can't sit still long. That boy's moving around. And so I remember back then I didn't have a cell phone, but I had a cell phone through work, which was one of those Nextel bricks, and you could call on it or radio on it. So I had that with me. And we were out there hunting antelope one Friday night. I think it was a day or two after opening day on this ranch right out of Colorado Springs. And me and Danny are driving around, putting on stalks and stalking these antelope. You know how that is out there in that sagebrush and canyon country. And man, they see you coming from a mile away, but you always feel like you have a chance, And we was driving out, and this would have been our second day on the ranch. So let's just say we hunted Thursday afternoon, Friday afternoon. 2 afternoons in a row after work, we went out hunting, and we saw antelope. And twice driving out right at dark, there was a big herd of antelope out on this pond. And so the magazine Danny worked for at the time, Inside Archery Bow Hunt America, they had gear that manufacturers would send to them to use and try out and do field testing or whatever, right? And Danny had mentioned, hey, we got a ground blind in this new brick house from Ameristep. We could throw that thing up out here too if we need to. I was like, hey, cool, man. Yeah, right on. And so I thought about that the whole time we're hunting. I'm hunting these antelope. I'm like, man, I'm getting wore out chasing them. So we pulled out that second night, that Friday night, and those antelope were all leaving that pond again, off the road a few hundred yards. And I said, hey, Danny, because we were going to hunt all day the next day. Now, Danny had, back then, all his kids were little. Lane, Casey, all of them. And Bailey was just a baby back then. He has 4 kids. And he had Pinewood derbies. He had Cub Scout events. He had all kinds of events with these kids to go to. And so he would squeeze in every second of hunting time he could. But he's like, hey, I said, hey, I want to pop that ground blind up in the dark in the morning. I'm going to set it up on that pond and you just leave me in it all day. And then you just go hunt. And if you got to leave to go to the Pinewood Derby, I think it was Casey. I think Casey had Pinewood Derby that day. And he said, or Austin, one of those 2 boys. I know it was one of those 2 had the Pinewood Derby for Cub Scouts. He's like, I had to leave for a little while, middle of the day, go do that, but I come back hunt the afternoon. I said, do it, man. I'm just going to stay in this ground blind all day. So, okay. So I packed a little cooler, put food, snacks, magazines, had some Eastman hunting journals I put in there, um, drinks. Yeah. Got all that stuff in the bag. Got that tent, got over that ground blind, got over there before daylight. So like 6 o'clock in the morning in August. I think it was August. It was still August, yeah. It was antelope season. The mule deer season hadn't opened yet, so it had to have been in August. So I get over there, I set that ground blind up at like 6 in the morning. Throw all my stuff in it, and Danny just takes off. And you know anything about eastern Colorado in August, it's the same as West Texas in August. It is hot. It is miserable. But I'm sitting there, and Danny would call me ever so often. Hey, see anything? No. Let me come get you? No, man. And I could see dust clouds. Well, I'm gonna go try this group over here. And there's this truck. I could see Danny's truck flying down the road a mile away over there. He'd go check that. He'd stalk them. Hey, I missed that, or I didn't get a shot. See? No, I didn't see any yet, Danny. All this goes on till like 11 in the morning. And I think a doe and a fawn came in and drank mid-morning and left. And I had just set that tent up, that ground blind. They were leery of it, but I'd set back, because it's Western game and I can shoot farther. I'd set my ground blind back 40 yards from the water hole, not right on top of it, give them some space and room to feel safe. Well, Danny gets back from Pinewood Derby. He's out there back to hunting. He calls me like at 3 o'clock. Man, I can't breathe. I've been crawling around all these bushes and weeds and all this stuff, man, and I can't see through. My eyes are swollen shut. I can't see through all this ragweed allergies.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go to town, give me some Benadryl. I'll be back. I see the dust cloud going off the ranch. A little while later, Danny, and I've not left this 4 foot by 4 foot space all day. I'd pee out the back window and sit back down. But I had taken my shoes off, socks off, rolled my pants up so my feet, I could dig into that cool sand and cool off, like I was like a old boar hog wallowed up in the sand in the shade over there, Yeah. And then Danny calls me, hey man, I'm back. Okay, I took some Benadryl. Okay, man. He's stalking. So anyway, it's I got in at 6 a.m. and it's 7:30 p.m. I mean, it's right at last shooting light, 7-ish. I look, and here comes a doe over the hill, another doe, another doe, another doe, another doe, and I don't know, 15 does. And then finally a nice Pope and Young buck right behind them. Walked in, they all walked over, they looked at the ground blind, walked around the water trough. I remember them all kind of shifting to the left, and the buck was the last to come. And he came over, and he started drinking. And I'd already ranged that thing 3,000 times that day. I knew it was 41 yards. So I drew back, shooting a 340 grain PSE carbon force 400 spine arrow with a 75 grain rocket ultimate steel broadhead. The whole arrow set up with 3-inch, 4-inch vanes, but maybe 340 grains out of and I think I had my bow set about 67 pounds. And I drew back and I put that 40-yard pin right behind that antelope shoulder, and I shot, and I heard boom. I thought, dang, I shot low. I shot the man's water trough. I watched that antelope buck run up there, and he got up on the hill and started running sideways and bloop, rolled over, his feet in the air dead. Golly, I got him. I called Danny, hey, I just killed one. No way, man. I'm like, yeah, get over here quick while we still get some good pictures. Danny comes flying over, and I go over there, and luckily the road, and this rancher that we were hunting on, he was adamant you couldn't even drive vehicles that had catalytic converters on them because he didn't want you to catch the roads on fire. And if you broke anything, you were expected to fix it. Well, I just shot this 300-gallon galvanized, high dollar, expensive looking water trough. But luckily, my arrow, it went through the antelope. 340 grain arrow.
Oh no.
67 pounds of draw weight.
Oh
I
no.
shot plumb through this mature buck antelope up there. I think he was like 74-inch antelope, Hope Young. Shot through him right behind the shoulders. The arrow was stuck in that rolled lip on the top of the. So you know there's a ring around the top of the trough. It's rolled, so we'll have a sharp edge. That's doubled up. The arrow stuck in that. So luckily it wasn't. And it took us getting Danny's Leatherman to get that broadhead out of that steel. So that was some sheer. That was pretty awesome there. And then Danny showed up, and he's just like, "Man, I can't believe you." He goes, "You didn't get out of that thing all day long." I was like, "No." He goes, "Man, I've been all over this ranch. I've been everywhere. I've stalked 15 times. And I left, went to Pinewood Derby, came back, got allergies, came back. I ain't flung it." And you sat there all day and you got the goat you came after. I was like, "Yeah." I was like, kind of like old Proverbs. Uh, Old Proverbs. What we got here? 14:29. He who is slow to wrath has great understanding, but he who is impulsive exalts folly. Yeah, Danny, he is exalting folly. He's out there follying all over the place. Danny's one of the best hunters I know. He was a young man. He came back. So I killed that goat, got some great pictures. Article got published at Eastman's, got him mounted, put on the wall there. Beautiful antelope. One of my, but 13 hours, and it was misery. But I learned a lot that day. I learned a great lesson about, did I have to? No, but I thought my best chance at getting one was going to be to sit there no matter how long it took. And it worked out, and I got one.
And had you seen this group at this water hole?
Twice,
Twice.
2 nights in a row. And on the third night, hey, you can't kill them where you want to kill them. You got to kill them where they want to be.
Right.
And I knew where they wanted to be. That I'm like, they're going to come to that water. Especially going to help if Danny's running them all over this ranch all day.
How so? Because Colorado plains are huge.
Yeah.
They're just massive. Do you know what the closest water hole to that was?
No, I didn't know where the next closest water hole was because we didn't have Onyx. We didn't even have a map. I think we had like a black and white topo map of the ranch printed off of a printer they gave us.
At that time, everybody's going.
And it's just showing you where gates are. It wasn't even showing you like where the water holes are.
Yeah, you'd have to go like Sportsman's Warehouse and get
Yeah.
the topo center.
Or just drive around and know where the water holes are. But they're far apart. It's a cattle ranch. So the water holes were far apart. There was not one. I'll promise you there wasn't another one within a mile of there.
How far are they willing to travel to water sources? I mean, it's like, because like
how they're like nomads. They just travel. There is no pattern to antelope. If you see a patch they like, hunt them. If you've seen them there twice in a row, I would say hunt them there as soon as you can, because whatever they're feeding on, that food source might run out. That patch of grass that they're eating on, or whatever they're browsing on right there, could dry up. They could eat it all and go. I would say the worst way to hunt them is to be out running around chasing them. But if you know a water source they're using consistently, then that's one of the best ways for a methodical person that's got patience that needs, or maybe if you need to learn patience, set a ground blind all day. You'll learn a lot about how much you can tolerate. But it's a great lesson. But then you have people, the very best antelope hunter I've ever met in my life is Jace Bowserman. And you and I have hunted with him quite a bit in that same country.
Yeah.
And we've seen him make stalks that were impossible. Remember when he put that leafy suit on and crawled right into all those? You were there that day. And we were just watching him from the truck. I was watching him from the rear view mirror. But he can move. He's a very fit, thin guy that can get so low to the ground that he crawled up to in the 70s, I think. 70 plus yards of that antelope and shot that big buck in his bed. Pope and Young, nice buck. That's the way I like to hunt them. But in this instance, something told me I think my best chance. Here is something, I observed. Here's two nights in a row they're at this water hole. Why wouldn't they be there on that third night? And so I just put all my faith in that. And so I'll go with it. And if I didn't, and that was going to be my last chance because the following weekend, the mule deer season started. And I'm not going to give up mule deer hunting time for antelope hunting time. So I kind of got lucky, but I kind of knew what I was doing too at the same time. So
okay, do they? So they're nomadic, so they don't really have a home base range.
Not really. I mean,
Mm.
they'll have a few square miles they stay in unless ran out. But
How much do do you know how if they put their faith in their noses, like deer constantly rely on the
I don't.
nose for their
Antelope
antelope.
are like any other big game animal. If they smell you, absolutely, you would want to keep your wind in your face,
Okay.
stalking them. But their eyes are their big. They have like I think something like 8 power ocular compared to ours. Like what they see is like me and you looking through 8 power binoculars is what I've heard. And so their eyes and the way their eyes are positioned high and on the side like that, like they can get almost a 360-degree view.
It's like 280,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think.
it's like 280, and they can see. Their eyes are their number ones. Ears, not so much. Their wind's howling. They can't hear you crawling up
Yeah.
on them unless you're some quiet little
Well,
coolie.
that's why I asked about the nose, because there's so much growing up out there. That's all you have is wind,
Yeah,
and so crossing paths with them, like it's
yeah,
now as a mature hunter that I am, knowing how what I go through in East Texas just to get a whitetail down, like getting, and I've been antelope hunting. I've actually put effort into antelope hunting, but there's where we're not considering the things to consider.
yeah,
It's like, man, ground scent on all that tall grass going through.
yeah.
So is that even something
That's
to
not a
worry
factor
about?
there. That's not a factor like it
Okay.
is here. And we would. I remember putting you on some stalks. We would always have like Jason and I, savvy old sage hunters. The wind is always in our face. We're paying attention to that. We'd never go at them with the wind at our backs. So we'd drive around. So you never even thought about that stuff.
No.
So we'd get the sunlight right. Where am I going to have the sun in my advantage, and where am I going to have the wind in my advantage? And we'd always put those two things into consideration before trying to stalk in on them.
Mm.
And that's what we now. Now I killed a buck with him in 2008. I killed a big 76 incher, skulls back here on the wall, and that one we had seen him off of a bench, and the wind was blowing from this field up this canyon, and we saw him from way off over here. So we drove up on top of the bench, took our boots off out of the truck, crawled out to the edge, and I shot that buck in his sleep at 76 yards. Um, One of the only animals I ever killed with a rage. I shot him at 76 yards and just hammered him, bedded down, wind in his face against those rocks. And so, but I had the wind coming up for me too, right? So I used the same wind he had, but my advantage was I was above him. He didn't even know. That was one of the most freaking awesome things to see, man. Just to be able to crawl up and there's a bedded goat out there, man, in my wheelhouse range where
Oh
it
yeah.
was awesome. Boom, shot him. That was an amazing hunt. I sure. I've had some incredible hunts with those two men in Colorado. Jason and I was mostly well with Jason and with Danny. It was always turkeys and antelope, because they were. And by the time it got into the deer hunting, I was just a hardcore high country mule deer and elk hunter, and I went on my own on backcountry
Hmm.
hunts. But when it come to having fun with my friends, I can say that some of the best times of my life hunting with turkeys and antelope with Jason and Danny out there in eastern Colorado.
Yeah.
Yeah, those
And
were good times, man.
you took Aaron out there too, didn't
Snyder, that's where me and Snyder started hunting together.
you? Yeah.
Yeah, man, killed that antelope when you and me were. That was a different one. That was drive around knocking on doors. Hey, there's an antelope in your pasture. Can we go hunt it? Yep, go kill it. That old man said, yeah, go kill it. Me and you were shooting starlings out of your mom's minivan with your BB gun out of the ditch. Me and Aaron driving around drinking Dr. Peppers, chewing Copenhagen, telling vulgar stories, and that guy makes me laugh so much, man. Me and old Aaron
He's
Snyder have
funny.
been through so many ups and downs in our relationship. The one thing I can tell you, man, is that guy can make me laugh like almost nobody can. He's the funniest guy I've ever met, and he's a good hunter. And but yeah, y'all, we'd seen this antelope way out, and it would look like the backside of the moon, man. I'm talking grass, inch tall for a mile. And we saw this goat, this antelope buck, and some does go over the ridge. And I was like, and we'd just stopped and asked a guy on a tractor, and he said, "Is this your field?" He said, "Yeah." He goes, "There's antelope in it. My buddy can hunt it." And he goes, "Yeah, kill it." He said, "Okay." He got back in. He goes, "You can go, man." I think Aaron thought there was low probability of a kill on that thing, so he didn't want to make that stalk into the middle of nowhere. She's like, "No, you can go get that one, man."
Yeah.
And so I disappear over the horizon, and I just kept circling, keeping the wind in my favor, and I just kept circling and rising up behind yucca plants, and I let those antelopes see me on purpose. And I kept popping up, and they started like semicircling me, getting closer and closer. Finally, they come out of this coulee to my left. I ranged them 64 yards. I'm like, no way, you're dead, man. 64 yards, and
Oh yeah.
my heart shot that antelope, and he ran over there about 40 yards, flipped over dead. And I remember just walking over to him, grabbing him by the antler, and I came walking back to the van. And what did Snyder say to you?
He's like, holy, you got one. Like he was like super shocked that that actually happened, and just being all the hunts I had been on with you, it's just like I hadn't. We only had the walk of shame, I think, was on the turkey hunt.
Yeah,
We had the walk of shame when that panther crossed our path,
yeah,
and that was like the only time I ever actually walked the shame with you. Had walked the walk of shame, and so yeah, he was like super shocked. Oh my, you got one! It's like, well, what did you think was going to happen?
yeah,
And that's the thing, you know, you're not going to get out of the truck unless you know your own, you know your own limits,
yeah,
and I think that's what everybody knows their own limits,
yeah.
and they try to measure themselves up against other people. But you, I was not used to you not having that success in hunting, and yeah, it was funny.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, man,
His
you don't hunt
perspective.
with my dad much, have you?
Yeah, yeah. He said from his perspective, you were laying in the back seat with your eyes closed, with one leg up on the other knee. And he said, well, you had glasses back then. He said, you opened one eye and goes, you haven't hunted with my dad very much, have
Yeah.
you? Like you expected me to fully come back with it. He thought we're wasting time here, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of a pat on my own back. But it was a cool moment to know. Even then, I was what 30. I'd have been probably 31, and you'd have been. How old were you in 2001? 10?
Yeah.
9, almost 10.
Yeah.
To have that much confidence, like, no, my dad gets out of this car, he's coming back with something. Because
Yeah.
when you said the walk of shame, meaning we were unsuccessful, walking back with our
Mm-hmm.
tongues hanging out, tails tucked between our legs, we didn't kill one. Was we were on a New Mexico turkey hunt, and I was trying to roost some toms right at dark, hen yelping, stand up, turn around, walk away, and there's a big old tom mountain lion just 30 yards from us, just sitting on his haunches looking at us. Thought he was coming in on some turkeys. You saw it and I saw it.
Mm-hmm.
And back then we didn't even carry a gun to camp because I was only trying to bow hunt
Yeah.
turkeys. That was in Unit 2, New Mexico. I remember knocking an arrow, walking backwards like, oh man.
All I had was decoy stakes.
Yeah, you
I
have
was hunting
decoy thing.
decoy
You're like, I'm
stakes
gonna
like
stab that thing in the freaking neck, man.
I'm gonna do it. That's all I got.
Yeah, I think after that I started bringing one of my pistols with me or something, or at least having a shotgun with us because, man,
That was our
could
second. That was our second
yeah,
encounter.
that would like
Second mountain lion
we
encounter.
could have got jacked up on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the so going back to um, knocking on doors, like for antelope hunting, how much is there public land versus private land opportunity in Colorado
For antelope,
Mhm.
there's quite a bit of public down in the southeast and northeast corners and eastern plains of Colorado. There's a lot of checkerboard state grasslands. You have the Comanche grasslands, and then you have some state trust lands, and then there's a lot of it's just door knocking. Now, that's 25 years ago,
Mm.
and since then, and Jace, he lived there in La Junta, and so he knew every rancher in those 2 or 3 counties, and he had permission. He didn't have exclusive permission, but he had permission to hunt almost all those ranches. That's why we had such great opportunity hunting with that guy because he knew everybody. But the one I killed was on public. The one I killed with him with a
Oh,
bow
really?
was on public on grasslands. Yeah,
Oh,
that
wow.
was super cool. Um, but then, like the last antelope I killed, man, it's been a long time. I was thinking I haven't killed an antelope since 2010. I killed 5. I've killed 5 antelope, 5 bucks, 4 with a bow and 1 with a gun. The last one I killed with a rifle, with Papa Novak's rifle, and that was with a 30-06, and that was on one of the ranches.
Okay.
I only hunted maybe 2 minutes. We rolled up on some. He saw a nice buck and 2 does laying out. I crawled over to a fence line, got on my elbow up on the fence, 200 yards, shot this nice antelope buck. But I was wanting to get one and get out of there as quick as I could. I had stuff going on, but that was a fun hunt. Matter of fact, because of my situation, I'm sitting on 10 antelope points right now in Colorado. And
Whoa.
I think I'm going to burn them this year to have a Western hunt that's not climbing mountains. I think I'm gonna put in for a rifle hunt and take one of my Weatherbies and go smoke me an antelope buck on my freshly healed hoof.
Yeah,
You might want to come with me on that one.
I'll go with you on that one.
Okay, we'll
Yeah.
have to call old Jason Danny and see where the best odds of a good with 10 points I can draw, but I'm gonna try it.
Okay. What are you gonna use? What would you? I guess because Grandpa, that's the Husqvarna.
That's what I killed that last one with.
So it's 30-06.
Yeah,
What grain? 150
I shot with a 150 core lot. Yeah,
core log. Okay.
but on this hunt, I'd take either one of my 25-06s or my 257 Weatherbies.
Okay. Someone was asking because what people may not know, which you might have picked up on, is yeah, we're gonna make fun of the arrow situation a little bit, but he measures everything in weights, in grains, and even down to rifle hunting. It's light bullets going really fast. So you're going to hear a lot of light arrows going really fast because that's just his hunting method and style. I'm just going to give you a disclaimer. And so we talk about grains a lot, and we're going to be talking about grains a lot on these things. And so when we're bringing up arrows, it's not always going to be a dig on the grain situation.
Sure.
But so like what 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 would be the optimum if you were to build out like an optimum antelope gun?
Optimum antelope gun for me. Um, I have it right now. Either one of my 257 Weatherbies. It doesn't have to be lightweight. You can carry it around the probably a synthetic. Like I have my Mark V laser mark Thor. I'd probably take that just to put another notch in it. It's not a strenuous hunt, but crawling around, if I do a lot of crawling, you could scratch it up on the rocks and grab. So any one of the nice Vanguards or up to any of the Mark Fives or 307. I mean, anything. I'm a Weatherby guy. Anything they have in 257 Weatherby would be the ultimate antelope rifle with a 100 grain bullet. So you're on a budget. Get you. I would say get the either get the Obsidian or the Badlands Vanguard and 257 Weatherby mag, and get the either the Swift Sirocco or the Barnes 100 TTSX or the 92 grain hammer. Any of those three loads, probably the 92 grain hammer. It shoots really good out of my Mark V backcountry carbon 2.0. But those that 92 grain hammer out of a 257 Weatherby with a good 4.5 to 14 loophole scope, man, just go sighted in dead on at 300, 350 yards and out to 400, 450. Just your crosshairs never have to leave the antelope. Might have to have a little bit of a wind dial, check the wind because the wind blows out there. But as far as your drop, you're not going to beat a 257 Weatherby mag on antelope. You're just not. And now, if you're a turrets guy and you like fast twist rates and long necks and turrets and dope charts and blah blah blah, if you got one of those 25 RPMs, that might be with a 130 grain burger or something. Oh man, that'd be a wind bucking antelope killing machine right there. Yeah. But I'm too old school.
Yeah,
I won't flight fast, and I'll hold off of them a little bit if I have to. I got 3 shots in that thing. I'll get them figured out.
yeah,
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
So cool, man. Having a whole antelope conversation kind of got me wanting to go hunt antelopes, man.
Yeah, I was wanting to know about ground blinds, but yeah, antelope, it's something
Yeah.
I've not had.
No, you've not even
Harvest.
gotten one, huh? Yeah, your first
Oh,
big
yeah.
your first big game
I got
animal was
a
that.
trophy doe.
You got a trophy doe.
Yeah.
That's some big horns for a doe.
Yeah.
You
She's
got
like a
that
6-inch doe.
That was on a ministry hunt, High Country
Roger
Ministries.
Medley. With
Yeah, Roger Medley and Randy Matthews.
And Carr.
Donnie Carr. Donnie Carr was the outfitter. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a great time, man. That was a youth ministry for dads and sons to come together. And, as grown men, we're the model. When we're around people are amazed at the relationship you and I have. Like we're the model of what a father-son relationship should be. But on that trip, we were the model. And you were only, how old were you in 2006? 13, 14?
15.
15?
It was
October.
It was in October.
You had just turned 15.
Yeah.
And we were the model then. Like, Mark, Travis, how do you guys, remember we were like, we were ministering to other dads and youth on our first ministry hunt. People were like, well, you guys just make it work. I'm like, treat him like a pal. Don't swear in front of him. Don't drink and chew in front of him. Have wholesome conversation with him. Be honest with him and make him a pal. Period. Make him your pal, man. You're my pal. We're here. You do dumb stuff, don't make him feel dumb. Let him say, hey, what you just did is dumb. Do you know why? Yes, sir. Okay, well, don't do that again. Okay.
Right.
I don't have to call you names and beat you down and make you feel bad. And because of that, you were able to say, hey, I got something I want to talk to you about. Okay. You could talk to me about anything. That was the model. And I'm so proud of that, Travis. I to be honest, that's one of the prides of my life is the relationship I have with my children that we can just talk about anything. And I just treated you the way I wanted to be treated. You know, it's just I was like, I didn't have a dad like that. Bill was, Papa Bill was good to me, but my real dad wasn't. And I'm like, man, I would never be that way with my kid. You know, my dad would be abusive or mean or talk mean or just say ugly things and just be mean to me just to do it to get his rocks.
Gaslighting, and
Yeah,
it's not fun.
yeah, no. Why would you do that to me, man? I just want to be around you.
Yeah.
And then as soon as I recognized you wanted to be around me, I wanted you to be around me. So I only lifted you up. And but I wasn't easy on you, but
No, it
I
wasn't
was
participation trophy love.
no, it was do your best. You might survive this thing. Yeah. But yeah, so man, antelope hunting, some great memories there, man. I kind of forgot all about that. And that was
That was the Husqvarna too,
with yes, Grandpa's Husqvarna.
which I'm guessing were also 150 core locks.
No, I actually had you shoot 165s.
Really? Okay.
Yep. That was before I went with the 150s. Yeah, because he like it was I had some 165 core locked. And your sister, the same year, you killed that antelope with it. Oh, I think the year before, your sister killed her first deer with it, with Grover and me up there on the Air Force Academy on
Okay.
it's her first deer hunt, and you could there was doe hunts up there. And Casey killed a doe with that, and I had bought those 165s for it for that hunt, and she got it.
Mm.
And then the next year or two after that's when you had your antelope hunt, and then your first deer was on that same hunt your sister went on, and
Yeah.
you killed your first deer with my 30-30.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was awesome. I remember that. Who was our guide on that hill? You remember that guy's name?
No, it was a ranger, wasn't it? Wasn't
Yeah, one of the rangers.
it was a forest officer.
Yeah, good guy though, man. It was a good
Uh,
time.
no, that was different. I don't know.
It was one of Danny's friends, wasn't
I
it?
thought so.
Don McAllister. Was it Don McAllister? Man, huh. Anyway, we're on a tangent there. But that was good times, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good time. I remember talking about whitetail hunting on that thing, and you were like, "Man, if I get a shot at a whitetail, I want a whitetail." You said, "Yeah, if I get it." I remember that being a conversation. You're like, "Well, they're kind of spooky, and they stay down here low. We might not get close to them." And I think we tried for a minute, and you're like, "No, take me back up top, man. I'm gonna find a deer." So we went up there, up on the archery range. You got your doe on the archery range, like over on the field, the field range, the hunter round is where you killed your doe.
Is that where it was?
Yeah, man.
Oh my gosh!
On the
Because
hunter.
I'm not putting two and three together on
Yeah,
that trip, right?
up there
I
where
just know that
you.
we're up there.
Yeah, you remember the day you were shot with all the pros and we shot the field round, and
Yes.
you shot the same score as Pellegrino on the dots. You beat me that day. You beat me and Kurt, and you shot the same score as Pellegrino on the animal dots with that Hoyt, with one of the Hoyts. I
Such a
can't even
good bow,
remember.
man.
But yeah, that red Protect
Yes,
Pro Elite.
yes.
You killed that. You
That was a good
killed
bow.
that doe about where that course starts, right down that little road right there. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, that was good times, man.
Nice.
Yeah, buddy, killing a mule deer doe that 30-30. I remember that, but yeah, no, man. Back to antelope hunting. I kind of got my juices flowing. I'll talk to those guys and see I think I have 9 or 10 points. And that might not be enough points, or it might be enough to get me in a pretty good hunt. But I'd like to burn them and go hunt an antelope on this year that would be conducive to my hunting style. Overcome and adapt and overcome. Bob and weave.
Yeah.
Yeah. What else?
That's all I got. That's all I had planned for.
Yeah, well, that's a good conversation. Who thought we'd talk about antelope and ground blind hunting? I always kind of let Travis lead off. If I got something I want to talk about, I'll come up with something that's on my mind. Otherwise, I'll let you just start asking questions. That usually leads to a great hunting story. Um, Man, I can't get in the woods fast enough though. But falling down in the shower last night humbled me and made me realize it's going to be a while. And I think I'm going to have to learn to walk again. I don't think it's in my mind. It's like, oh yeah, in 6 weeks they take my cast off and start walking. I think it's going to be slow going, man, to get my surefootedness walking back under me. I might even have to walk with a cane for a little while just to have a little extra prop over there, which, whatever.
Yeah, you're gonna have to rebuild your stability muscles a little bit.
Yeah, I can already feel my right calf muscle deteriorating to a little mushy glob of, ugh, feels like a mushed up crawfish in a shell down there. It just feels terrible. But anyway, I don't complain. I just go with the flow. All right, everybody. Well, we'll wrap up number 5. It's almost lunchtime here in North Texas, and it's the week of the expo. Everybody will be going to expo. They'll all be leaving out tonight or tomorrow, I'm guessing. And this will air after, so I won't plug anything because y'all already know about it. But I hope y'all had fun. Hope you had fun without me. I missed you all for sure. But I plan on being back next year. And drop us some comments. Drop some comments, please. Go follow this channel, subscribe, follow, like, and tell us what you want to talk about. Would you like to hear about specific mule deer hunts? There's 30 years of mule deer hunting in this room, of just me, not including the kids and Christina and some of my buddies, but there's a lot of mule deer hunting in this room, elk hunting, whitetail hunting. Whitetail, if you're a Texas listener and you want to talk about one of our series we're going to do pretty in depth this summer is prep and how to hunt East Texas private lands. Because 99% of the hunting in East Texas is private lands, and all the information you're getting from the internet is how to hunt public lands from the public land guys.
Or the private lands that you are watching, they're in Midwest.
Yeah.
A lot of them I'm finding that I really love because I love land management, but it's all Midwest stuff. It's not really conducive.
But hunting and being successful on mature whitetails like these over here in East Texas, there's a secret sauce to it, and it's hunting travel routes and points of interest. Some points of interest are man-made, some points of interest are natural, and some are man-made, like feeders. You can hunt a feeder just like a straight, but you're not going to shoot that big old mature buck with a bow and arrow off of a feeder in daylight. It's just very, very low chance of that happening. But we have figured out ways to hunt off using the wind, using that point of interest, hunting travel routes to hunt those things. And we have found consistent, solid success on doing that on our East Texas place. So once we can get out in the woods and do some videos for you, man, we're going to have some pretty good content around that. We're excited about that. So, all right, man. Well, you know what they say. Jesus only gave us 2 commandments: love God and love your neighbors as you love yourself. And we certainly love you. And if you ever want to talk about hunting or the Lord or anything in general, just drop us a comment or go to the direct messages, the DMs, or a comment, and we'll be glad to have a conversation. Until next time, God bless.